Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Light Movement. So in this episode, we're going to be talking to you guys about reimagining art sales with NFTs. And we have a special guest here, Josh Lyon. He is a marketing manager here at Milan Art Institute, and he is the art store director. So pretty cool guy. And he's also very interested in blockchain, NFTs, and pretty knowledgeable on the subject as well. So he's going to be helping us out with some questions on that. But full disclosure, none of us are experts on NFTs. We have done some research. We've looked into it. We know the process of creating an NFT. However, we're not like experts in it. So, and also this is not a podcast on investment advice. So just have to put that little disclaimer in there. So if you didn't catch our podcast last week, we talked about, are you destined to be an artist? And, how is Destiny involved with, being an artist? And that one's really inspiring. We had a lot of good feedback about that podcast. So if you want to watch that after this, you can click the link below in the description of this video to watch that. As always, we're going to start off with a right brain challenge. And this time, we're going to be closing our eyes and drawing an NFT.
Whatever that means.
So I have a timer set for 1 minute. And we're just going to
Do you know what you're drawing?
We're going to close our eyes and draw whatever we think an NFT is. So I actually have nothing planned for this. Okay, are you guys ready?
All right.
Get set and go.
I don't know what I'm doing.
This is going to be very interesting.
Am I still on the paper? Okay.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
What is that? Okay. Let's try to interpret each other's
This is
real
very
quick.
complicated.
Okay, I see yours. Yours is blockchain for sure, right?
Yeah, you've got the blockchain, and then you've got your NFT up here. This was a little guy buying the NFT.
Well, you got to hold it up so others can see it.
Oh, yeah. All right. So you got your blockchain, okay? And on this block is the NFT, and this little guy's purchasing the NFT. All right?
That looks really left brain.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, mine is
That
a
came out
metaphor.
really good, though, squares and stuff.
You did that with your eyes
I
closed,
did it with
Josh?
the eyes closed.
That's
I did.
pretty good.
You see how I didn't move my pen?
Wow, okay.
I do that.
Wow.
So mine is a baseball card.
That looks like somebody that's hanging himself.
Oh gosh.
That's very
He's
funny.
got a little baseball bat there.
Jake makes dark art.
He's got dark art doesn't sell, even on NFTs. So keep that in mind. So it's a.
I like how you signed it.
Oh, thank you. It's a baseball card. And I'll get into why I did a baseball card in a little bit, because it's sort of a metaphor for like what NFTs are. So I did a little allusion to the future.
So what came to me right away is imagining when a person buys a piece of art that's an NFT, what would that look like? Like, what practically would it be? And so I was thinking they would have like a screen in their house to like show their art, like whatever they buy, to like flip through the paintings. And
Oh,
That's
interesting.
great. And
That's
is that
cool.
a person on their
That's
computer?
a person with a wine glass.
All right.
Oh, hey, you gotta move your microphone a little bit.
Over here.
Yeah, it's just not pointed at your mouth. What's yours, Ellie?
I have no idea. I just drew whatever came to me in the moment. So
Rain clouds.
This is a mountain.
Uh-huh.
There's stuff coming down off the mountain,
It's gold.
That is right brain.
and this is supposed to be water, and I was connecting the dots.
Oh my God.
I think you missed a little bit, but it's...
And then it felt like it should rain, so
What's down there?
then I kind of went dark, and I felt like there was sharks somewhere. So that's a shark.
You were really in your right brain.
Oh my
That's so
gosh,
funny.
that is so funny.
I think it must be prophetic.
Sure.
Wow.
You
Very
know?
interesting.
It's the art mountain, and then there's so many NFTs that's causing a deluge of blessing for artists. But watch out for those sharks, because, you know, there's always sharks lurking about.
Interesting. What are the sharks? Who are the sharks?
I don't know.
That's yet to be discovered.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so probably what's on everyone's mind, unless they already know what an NFT is like, what the heck is an NFT? So, Josh, do you want to just, in whatever, I'll try to supplement whatever answer you give.
Okay.
But what is an NFT?
Okay, so NFT stands for non-fungible token. And so we'll start with the non-fungible part. Fungible means replaceable, okay? So anything that's fungible is easily replaced and there's duplicates of it.
Like a dollar.
It can be, it can be substituted easily. But if it's non-fungible, it's unique. It can't be substituted. And then, so that's the NF part. And
It also
then-
has to do with divisibility, too. Sorry to interrupt.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But then, and there's something I don't understand about that, but we'll get to it. Then the token is the piece of code. Basically, it breaks down to a piece of code on the blockchain that is basically what you hold in your crypto wallet that says, I own this. You know, it's got authenticity, it's got a signature, and you know, you hold that signature, and that token also has another layer to it that has a smart contract, at least on the Ethereum blockchain. And that can basically say, like, I own this and I am allowed to do X, Y, and Z with it.
Okay. That's pretty concise. Do you have like a metaphor for it?
Yeah, sure. So I was thinking about this on the way over here. It's like my watch, okay? This is made by a company called Ubaku in Denmark, and they're a good watchmaker, okay? They've made thousands of these watches. So you could say they're fungible, right? But what makes this watch, this is kind of like the metaphor of like what makes an NFT valuable. It's kind of the same as art. Like this watch is valuable to me because it was given to me by a friend on my 30th birthday. So I can't get, even if someone stole this watch, I couldn't get another one. I could get another one, but it would not be this same watch. I'm connected to this watch, and it reminds me of that friend. Okay, so to me, that's kind of where we're going with this like social currency of NFTs, you know, or buying a piece of artwork that's special to you. You're the one that gives it value. And right now we're in this place where there's all these NFTs, there's all these, you know, GIFs and pictures that we're making and everything. And it's very similar to art. It's like, why do you want it? Well, it makes me feel something, you know? And then there's the more solid side of NFTs where when you buy something, it's actually connected to something. Like you said, a baseball card, you know, that is that baseball card.
Yeah. I think something really important to understand when just thinking about NFTs is like, what is value? Like what creates value? And there's like two different types of value. There's objective value and there's subjective value. And subjective value is, objective value is something like gold, where, you know, everybody, no matter where you are in the world, agrees that gold is valuable. And, you know, right now, the US dollar, it's objectively valuable. It's responsible for half of the world's transactions are in the US dollar. Subjective value are like baseball cards. Like to one of us, I mean, I don't know if you collect baseball cards.
I don't. But
to like a lot of people, baseball cards don't really have value because, you know, they're not a part of that community. But things with subjective value typically have to have a market and a demand for it in order for it to have value. So because there's a market and a demand for NFTs and these unique verifiable tokens, there is value to them. So,
and I would add too, like, so going on what you said, if my favorite band put out an NFT that was a song that I could buy and I would own that song, Ellie would not probably have much value in that, put much value in that NFT because it's not her favorite band, you know, whereas I would want to buy it and I would want to display it in my crypto wallet, you know, just like putting a sticker on my car or on my laptop or something like that. And that's that like subjective value coming into play. Like, it's worth it. It might be worth half an ETH to me, which is, I think,
Ethereum,
like about $1,500 right now, or
2,000,
almost 2,000. Yeah. So like, but it wouldn't be to Ellie, you know.
So, questions, guys. Do you guys have?
Oh, you want us to ask questions?
Yeah. Just because I figure you guys probably represent, you know, a lot more of artists, or maybe Dimitra, you understand NFTs pretty well, you know. So, do you guys have any questions about them, just that other people might?
Well, I guess what everybody's going to ask is, what does it have to do with art and art sales?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I know the answer to it, but
Well,
you
go
should
for it. Yeah.
you should answer it.
You don't? Okay. Well, I think how it relates to art in a lot of ways. There's like a lot of ways that this can apply to art now, and then I think a lot of ways that this can apply to art in the future once this technology has sort of evolved a little bit and grown a little bit. So how it applies now, like practically, if you're watching this, what you could do to monetize your art even further, because that's what this is all about, really. It's about like providing a way for artists to monetize their art in new avenues, right? So, and kind of taking away a lot of the middlemen, which is like, you know, galleries or publishers or, you know, auction houses, whatever. But so how an artist who's watching this can use this is like, there's several ways. You could, I guess, in order to, you have to understand it pretty well. So one of the things that Josh talked about earlier, is that NFTs are like they're a verifiable, it's basically like a certificate of authenticity.
I think you
right?
should probably explain blockchain to people. I don't know that blockchain is in how blockchain kind of works, and why is that kind of sort of new and revolutionary for a lot of industries. I think there's a lot of people that probably have never heard of it that are listening, and or just have barely heard of it but don't actually understand it. And that, to me, for me, when I understood blockchain, and I don't understand it deeply, I just basically understand it, that created a foundation to understand everything else. So I think that's a good, I think you should explain that.
Well, blockchain in one sentence, in like its most basic form, is a ledger of transactions that are immutable and unhackable, virtually unhackable. So what that means in sort of like plain English is, it's like, think of it as like a ledger that you write down transactions on. Well, each transaction, each ledger of transaction is connected to the one behind it and the one in front of it. So in order to hack, and
then it's verified.
And then it's verified.
It's verified by all these different computers. That's what helps too, is that connection is set. Okay, yes, you had $50, you spent $10 here, now you have $40. Every one of those transactions is verified by those computers. So you bought a Dimitra Milan original piece from Dimitra Milan for, $5,000, and then you sold it to, Joe down the street, and for $6,000. Now you've created like 3 different transactions that are connected to each other and that are
transparent
transparent and are verified on the blockchain. And you can go actually see those transactions online, and you can know.
And they can't be altered, changed, destroyed, hacked. People can't mess with that.
Yeah. So
even Dimitra.
the value in it is that it's decentralized and secure. and transparent. Really, that's the
Right.
value in blockchain, is that it's not one central corporate entity that controls all the information. It's all the information is encrypted and spread out across millions of computers all over the world. So there's no one person in control, which is good. And
Right.
I think, you know,
Right.
and I think billions of people think that also. So, which makes it even more value. And like, cryptocurrency is a separate topic, but like NFTs get more value as more people validate them as well.
Right.
Just like art, like if you have a painting and more people want that paint, it's supply and demand. You know, if more people want that painting, the price of that painting goes up. So,
Right.
um,
And also another thing to think about is that right now, currently in the current system, and it's been this way forever and ever, is that reselling paintings, meaning the secondary market, has been difficult. It's been it requires provenance. It requires so art becoming a serious investment has relied on the artist being incredibly
elite
world
system.
famous.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it supports an elite
Exactly.
system.
Exactly.
And the power is centralized to those that control provenance. So those that control provenance are a gallery or a dealer that has some sort of credentials,
an auction house, like
an auction
Sotheby's.
house like
Yeah.
Sotheby's, and it's again that elitist system. So what blockchain can do for art and for this is afford any artist the ability to produce provenance, meaning a verifiable, authentic, that this art came from this artist on this date and it costs this much. So a record or a ledger of the sale. That's what provenance is. And you could, there's this great documentary out about Jackson Pollock and this woman who finds, I wish I remembered the name of it so people could watch it, but
I'm
anyway,
sure you could find it. If you
yeah,
just Googled,
a documentary about this, but it's really great. And this woman went to a thrift store and she found a Jackson Pollock painting, and
Wow.
and it was signed by Jackson Pollock, and it had his signature.
Oh,
there-
it had his signature.
Oh yeah, it was
I
a
didn't-
Jackson Pollock
oh,
painting.
Wow.
That's how she even knew it was a Jackson Pollock painting. But it had no provenance. It was found at a Goodwill.
So nobody believed her.
So everybody thought it was a fake, because why would Jackson Pollock's painting be
Right.
at a Goodwill? Well, she, believed it was a Jackson Pollock painting and set out to try to prove it. But without provenance, nobody would buy it. And therefore it was worthless. It had zero value whatsoever. And I think she bought it for $20 at Goodwill. So then she hired an investigator. He went and found through different kinds of high tech stuff, found a thumbprint embedded in the paint on the painting. So then they went to Jackson Pollock's studio because he was so splashy with the paint, and found a thumbprint there, and it was 100% match.
Wow.
But still, the provenance wasn't set because you couldn't prove that was Jackson Pollock's thumbprint, even though it was his studio and this painting. And logically speaking, obviously, it's Jackson Pollock's thumbprint, but it
Yeah.
couldn't be undeniably proven. So the elitists who need this system in place to be in power argued and said, there is no way, we're not giving it provenance, we're not validating it. And it was still worthless. And it took her years and years and years, and she finally convinced an investor to believe her and believe it, and put the big money down, and that started the provenance.
Wow.
And so
That's crazy.
so then now it's, after so many transactions, it builds. So that guy bought it for, whatever, less than it's, would have value, but at least put a big chunk down, and then he resold it. And so now it has provenance. So what blockchain can do for artists is create that provenance without that elitist system.
Yeah.
And what it will do over time is promote the secondary market of art sales,
Yeah.
because it won't be difficult. You won't rely on this elitist system. You won't require Sotheby's to go, oh yeah, this has value and let's go sell it. You can just resell it. And the more it resells, if you can manage to resell a painting 10, 20 times, it'll really go up in value.
Yeah.
And then because it is a a verifiable investment, people will buy it over and over again.
That's right.
And you can put in the blockchain, this is revolutionary, put in the blockchain that for
In
an
the
NFT,
NFT,
in the NFT. So you can still sell the original artwork, but the NFT just supports the original artwork. You can put in there that the original artist gets a percentage of the sale each time. Because right now the way it is, Jackson Pollock, sold his paintings for a pittance, for not very much, and then they have resold and resold and resold as they get collected, and he's never, or his estate has never received any benefit from that. So, and I think that's wrong, because artists invest in their career, and it builds equity in the value of their paintings, but they never reap the benefit of it
Right.
because they only get money from their first sale. And so it's really not fair. Everybody else makes money off of artists except for the artist. So blockchain could change that, or NFTs can change that for all artists.
Yeah.
And it will completely make the elitist system obsolete because you can run auctions using NFTs.
Yeah, and people do. I mean, on any
Yeah.
platform.
Right.
So I think in order for people to get like a really good visual, not even a visual, but like to understand it on like a more basic level, an NFT is literally just a picture. It's any sort of digital asset that you just upload onto a platform like OpenSea, Rareable. I think one called Collectible or Rare. I don't know. Those are like the two most popular. Huh?
How do you find those?
It's OpenSea.io. If you just Google OpenSea NFTs or NFT platforms, really, you'll just get a list of all of them. So
There's also one mainly focused on art, and it's like an auction house, basically.
You know which one that's called?
I made a note
is
of
it
it.
Nifty Gateway?
Nifty Gateway.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And-
Nifty Gateway, you have to be invited onto though.
Yeah, exactly. But I was looking at, I think it's Michael Kagan or something like that. He made an NFT out of his painting. It's an original painting. It's called Picasso's Bull. And he took that painting and he made an NFT of it, and he made multiple versions. He even made an animated version.
Oh.
And so you can buy different versions of that NFT. But somebody else owns the original, So my question is, how do we see that going as far as, the original and the NFT? Because some people destroy their original once they've made the NFT.
Really?
Whoa.
And they actually document, they put in the NFT contract a video of them destroying, burning,
that hurts
whatever.
my
So
don't like
they
that.
know that NFT is the last actual authentic piece.
Well, see, I think that what the future is you're gonna, instead of that gallery system, instead of Sotheby's, instead of these sort of centralized where they put their stamp of approval on things, what eventually will happen is you will have sort of almost like how escrow works. You'll have these entities, these companies, these businesses that aren't necessarily putting their stamp of approval on things. They're just basically holding houses until the transaction transpires. I mean, that was kind of, you were telling us this idea. So you should probably expound on it because you're the one that really
About
owns the
how
idea.
Original paintings and the NFTs can work together.
Yeah, so the whole question was like, okay, so it's easy for an artist to link an NFT to an original painting and to ensure that if somebody buys an NFT, they get that original painting as well. All you would have to do is when you create the NFT, you could just figure out a way to get the person who buys it their address, and you could do that through just having the NFT on your website and then having a promo code that's attached to the NFT. It's called an unlockable. So you can have like a PNG file of it as an unlockable, and you can basically have anything that's digital as an unlockable asset that people get when they buy an NFT. So you see the picture or the video and then you buy it and then you unlock whatever else the artist has attached to it. So I was thinking, how do you ensure when the next person wants to resell the painting in NFT, how do you ensure that that person actually ships the painting to the next person who buys it? And that's basically how do you make it comfortable for the buyer to ensure the secondary market or it like thrives, like you were saying, and how that's going to be so great
Almost
for
like
artists.
buying something off a website that you don't know or that might look a little sketchy. Well, how do I know they're not just going to take my money and not ship me the product?
Exactly. So I was thinking that in the future, all you really need is like a platform like OpenSea. Like OpenSea right now, they take 2.5% of transactions. If you had a platform that didn't release the funds, like whenever someone tries to buy a painting, right? They buy the NFT, the money gets taken out of their account. Well, if you had OpenSea or a platform, Milan Art Patronage or
PayPal
or PayPal, hold the money in the middle until that person receives the painting, and then the money is distributed to the art seller, then that would ensure the thriving market of exchange with NFTs and with this provenance,
right?
With the whole having NFTs connected to original art, because as a fine artist, that's what we're all thinking, like how do we make NFTs really valuable for our collectors,
Right.
And how you make it valuable is, like you were saying before, like the NFT, or I don't know if we said it before, but the NFT is the certificate of authenticity. When you buy the painting, you don't get a certificate like an actual physical certificate. You get an immutable and unchangeable, unhackable digital copy that's on a blockchain that will exist forever as long as that blockchain exists. And so that is like the best form of certificate of authenticity, because you can't forge that. There's no way, and that's a huge thing.
It can't be
right now.
destroyed in a fire or
Unless it's so exciting, really. It's like, whoa, it's the future, Now
I believe, don't quote me on this, I know with Bitcoins and other coins, you can take that coin and you can put it in a crypto wallet that's external to the computer, so like a flash drive. But and that could be destroyed, and then you're,
that's...
But I was going to say, too, so they're actually talking about what?
I don't know if that is necessarily true, because it will be on the ledger. Like, that's if you took the NFT, like the NFT would still be traceable back to the original owner.
Original block.
It's just nobody would be able to own the NFT anymore. Like, the NFT itself would be, so I guess you're right. I mean, in essence.
That's one of those questions I have is like, where does this, if you take it off, like if you know there are different things, there are different authentication practices, but if you know all your passwords and everything like that, and I think there are like 12 words.
Yeah, it's 12-word phrase.
Like, can you get your NFT back? Can you get a copy of it, or is that NFT gone? That's...
Well, you can't make copies of it. It's non-fungible.
Right. So, but one thing I was going to say is they're actually talking about how, so the example I read was crowdsourcing. There are crowdsourcing platforms that once you've hit your goal, you want to start a company and you put it out on the crowdsourcing platform, and once you hit your goal, you get the money from all the people who donated.
Like Indiegogo or Kickstarter.
Yeah, that platform transfers the money to you, and if it doesn't, it goes back to the people who donated. The smart contract of the NFT will actually be able to do that. So like you were saying, holding the funds until the seller has shipped to the buyer, and the buyer has the painting, and they go in and click, I have received it, and then they have the funds, something like that. So it may not be that there even needs to be a middleman. I don't know, but there has to be a platform.
Well, there still has to be a platform where people can buy it.
For you to go click the button, I mean, so I don't think we're ever going to get rid of middlemen per se.
But 2% of the sale versus 70% of the
or
sale.
Or greater, 90%.
Well, and the ability to resell it and make a profit every time it resells.
Yeah.
And the ability for the artist to work hard at their career, building all that equity and be rewarded for it is revolutionary.
All that intellectual property that you put out there.
Yeah.
Well, it's like royalties.
What excites
it's what it
me,
is. It's royalties.
Yeah, and what excites me about all of this is just the spiritual implication of that. Because for so long, artists have been taken advantage of, abused, not valued, not been paid what they're worth, treated pretty badly and taken advantage of over time. And what this does is it positions the artist to take their rightful place, they're the ones that should benefit the most. It shouldn't be that an artist, sells over $1 million in artwork in a year and all they got was 90,000.
Right.
That shouldn't be the case.
Right.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the system. That's the way it has been for artists for so long. And this flips that on its head. And I think that, that has deeper implications. The money aspect creates artists in that position, to me, instead of a pauper or, that starving artist that's, sort of on the fringe of society and kind of, oh, they're an artist, right? Mm-hmm. It positions them more as like a king or a queen, at the top because they are really, artists really are painting the future. They really are at the very pinnacle
yeah.
of culture and always have been, but they've never been rewarded for it. They've never, really been able to take their place. And I think that, I say this all the time, but I think that, the curse of the starving artist is over and we've hit a new day. And what has kept that curse in place is the elitist system. Mm-hmm. It's even elitist art schools. We own an art school, but we do everything we possibly can to not make it elitist. Mm-hmm. We even say you don't need talent. We don't believe in talent. Talent can only get you so far. We believe in passion and hard work. So, like, that elitist system has really held this sort of system, in place for so long. And I think that NFTs and things like it, technology, that is what is, hitting in a convergence point, and artists are, I think, waking up to, through social media and all kinds of things, that they can own their own business. So many artists have told me over the years, oh, I'm not good at marketing. I can't do that. I'm not good at my mind doesn't think that way. And what it is artists are identifying with that poverty, starving artist mentality. And you don't have to be great at marketing. You don't have to be a business mind. It's a system. Mm-hmm. And this system being decentralized, mm-hmm. which you can't be an elitist in a decentralized system. You just can't.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. For the most part. Nifty Gateway is a little bit of that, it's like even the name Gateway, it's like people at the gate.
Well, yeah, because
they're
they
a little
make
bit
it
elitist, I think.
Well, because it's in the beginning.
Yeah.
But when it's widespread,
yeah, and hits critical mass,
and it takes off, then that'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even now, elitists are saying things like, oh, well, the bubble is inflating right now.
Yeah, they call it a bubble.
Yeah, it's going to pop and everything, and which it probably will, equalize at some point. But it shows that anybody, right now, if you go on Nifty Gateway or anything like that, you'll see some just...
ridiculous.
You're like, really? This is what you're selling?
Those are the elitists that are trying to get in early.
Yeah,
really, that's what
they're trying to just put whatever out there.
And launder money, probably.
Probably, yeah. But what I'm saying is it really shows anyone can put their voice out there, mm-hmm. and it can be bought by anyone who feels drawn to
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So.
And so that's the cool thing about this too, is that it will position beauty ahead. As mm-hmm. the more people that get on there to buy stuff, the more that it positions beauty above darkness, because mm-hmm. people aren't going to want to just own dark stuff.
Right.
People aren't going to want to own dark NFTs. They'll want to
mm-hmm.
own NFTs that they feel proud to show their friends,
Right.
And that they're look at this, I own this awesome painting or this awesome animation of this painting,
Yeah.
And it's super cool because it makes it so that you could partner too. It inspires collaboration as well between digital artists and painters too, because mm-hmm. I know I'm just speculating, but I'm sure there are tons of digital artists that would love to collaborate with either of you guys, who would love to turn one of your paintings into some sort of animation or something.
Totally.
And then who knows, you guys could share that NFT and then split the royalties, and it's coded in that you split the royalties,
Exactly.
So you never have to worry about or you just contract somebody to make an NFT and then you own it outright. I don't know, whatever. That's just details, but but I mean, it just opens up collaboration too, and it can apply to not only original paintings, but you can do limited editions also of NFTs, which is super cool. You can do, you can set however many mints, tokens of a certain item that you want to make, and all of those you make money off of in the future as well.
So that's interesting. Actually, that's something I want to ask you guys is how do you feel like, I think that there are going to be ways, and me and Ellie had a short conversation about this. I think there are going to be ways that this improves your social capital as well. Because like you were saying, like you could mint 5 of a painting, and each one of those are special because they have a different smart contract, and they get you a different thing and a different unlockable, that connects you with the artist. Maybe it's just something like a video where they're talking to you about something different, cool. And then if you bought all 5, you'd have like the complete series. Yeah. Or I know some people who are adding like different things like their time into it. Like they're saying like, with this NFT, you're going to get a ticket to our conference, or you're going to get a dinner with me or something like that, So, I mean, I think there's going to be cool ways to connect with your audience too.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and with that too, you could, like, if you wanted to, because your time, is a little bit more valuable.
Definitely.
So with that, there's no limit to what percentage of the royalty you get when it resells. Like you could make it so that, you get 80% of the resale of the NFT, so that whenever anyone in the future buys the NFT, they also get to have dinner with you.
Maybe until that's been, well, maybe if that's like transferable, or once that dinner has been fulfilled on the blockchain, it just becomes the painting, It might be.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of ways, that you could do it. Like, I think with the technology and the coding, it's like literally infinite. It's just a matter of time before all of these things are actualized.
And created in a way that can actually be like executed. So
I just wanted to throw out there too, for whoever's listening, if you have any questions, write them down in the chat. I'm sure there are some people with questions I haven't checked yet, but
we may not be able to answer them all.
Yeah, we might not be able to answer all of them, but we definitely want to at least try to get to most of your questions at the end of this. So in about like 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to start answering questions.
Yeah, I also want to say too to just listeners that might be hearing this and maybe half of the jargon you're saying they don't even understand.
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
And maybe feel somewhat lost and because I even a couple times you guys were saying a few things, I was like, I don't know what they're saying. Like it's like, go back.
That's not on my picture.
It's NFT. Yeah.
Yeah. And what I have learned, I'm not like that old, but I'm older. I know email super well, and Jake the other day was telling me how I knew some things to do on email that he didn't know how to do.
I hate emails.
He didn't know about how to do. He was trying to do a blind BCC, and he was putting it in the normal and I'm like, that's not a BCC, and
that's group message.
Yeah, that's group message. So. Anyway, I know I'm old school, but he doesn't even use email anymore. So
I try not to.
Yeah. So anyway, but what I want to say to the sort of crowd, the non-techie crowd, is I have gotten over that. There's this resistance in me before where it's like, too much. I don't know, overwhelming, shut down, walls, go away, and then of course the statement, I'm just going to stick to my art, and that's for somebody else. And I would highly discourage that sort of mentality because it won't get you very far, and it's really it is a wall, and it's closing down, and it's based in fear of not being enough, or fear of not knowing enough, or being left behind, or you can't get it, or any of that, and it's not coming from a good place. And as soon as I just sort of embrace, like, I can totally learn this, and it's fascinating. Its technology is fascinating, and you're not going to be left behind. And it's really, I highly encourage you to just push into it and learn and read about it. Just Google and watch TED Talks and YouTube videos. I did not comprehend blockchain at all, and people were talking about it, and I could not figure it out. So I went on TED Talks and I just watched like 3-4 TED Talks about blockchain, and I figured it out. I learned and understood, the point of it. And so anyway, I don't shut down, really, try to get this, because the world is changing fast.
Very
and
fast.
You can't just shut it out just because it's unfamiliar and it scares you.
Yeah.
And
I
was going to say too, Ellie, build on that. Get out there and taste it and try it. I mean, and maybe that's what a lot of these people are doing that have, we're looking at it like, really, you're selling that? But maybe they're just they might be those people who are just trying to get out there and experiment.
Yeah.
I think it's super cheap to create an NFT,
Yeah, it's like $15, I think.
Didn't you just do one the other day?
I haven't. I'm doing something
made
special for it. I'm working on creating the unlockable right now. So
Yeah. So
I want to make a cool NFT. So
and that's going to be like your pioneering thing, and it'll probably do fine, or there might be something
Or
down the road like,
great.
man, or great, and down the road you're going to be like, okay, but next one I'm going to add this.
Exactly.
And you felt the same way about art the first time you picked up a paintbrush. You
Yeah,
thought,
in the middle of each
there's
painting.
no way I
Gotta
can
start
create
somewhere.
this, but you have to start somewhere,
Well, and it's a whole nother, the NFT market is a whole nother market. There are literally people looking to buy NFTs that would be, special or rare or have a possible increase. And if it's a link to an artist that's already known or has a habit of painting, the likelihood of that going up in value is high, and therefore would probably sell more. And so it's a whole nother market to reach at this early stage, which I would definitely jump on. And also you said this, Josh, that like really resonated with me the other day, is it's literally like throwing seeds out there and with a future bank.
Yeah.
And because every NFT that gets sold and resold, you can make money on it.
That's right.
yeah.
And so it's like you're throwing seeds for a future harvest.
Well, yeah. The other day you were telling me you still get checks from these different licensing deals
Yeah.
that you did. It's like licensing almost, but
Right.
like you're the sole beneficiary. Like
Right.
you don't have to share with. The only people that you're sharing with are the people who are selling and yourself. And
Right.
so instead of getting 1% or 3% of the licensing deal, you actually get to choose what percent you want in the future.
Right.
That's right.
It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
you could literally put 50%. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do that, unless it is a lot of like something that's like physical transaction with you involved, like your time, like we were saying before, but it's
Well, and I think
revolutionary.
too, there's going to be some economics. Once this thing really gets to scale more than it is, there's going to be some. Oh, well, this NFT I could get it from this artist, but they have a 50%, resale royalty. This artist has 10. I'm going to go with this one because it'll be easy to resell.
Yeah. Something else I just thought to mention is a while back in the podcast you were talking about. And Dimitri, I think this would like benefit you for sure. But you were talking about like what can artists do today, right? There's things that are coming in the future to look for, but today, what can you do? And I think that that whole throwing seed idea is you could create digital versions of your paintings, and change the color or change it, or you wouldn't even have to, and give away NFTs. You could literally just give them away to people and have them up for grabs.
Get some new followers like that.
Yeah. And you can use it like as a marketing tool. You can use it as, for competitions, reward, awards, collateral. And what that's doing is it's creating future seed that when they resell, you will get money back for it. And it's not, you didn't paint it. It just represents a painting. It's digital. It's literally a picture of a painting. And then you go through the effort of creating the NFT, and it could, I mean, you could literally give them away or just sell them at the cost of it cost you to make the NFT.
Yeah, and somebody might ask, like, how is the resale value, like, who determines the value of it when it's resold?
Yeah, that's a question I have.
Yeah, and it's actually the person who wants to sell it. Like, there's no set price. Like, it's not like the stock market where when this happens, the price goes up or down, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
probably
whenever
gonna
somebody,
grow.
whenever somebody sells it, you could literally sell one for 1 Ether, which is around $4,000 right now. And then that person could take it and they'd be like, you know what? I think that there's an even greater market. I want to sell it for 10 Ether. And then they can choose whatever price they want to sell it at.
It's
So that's
whatever
also
you can
beautiful,
find
too.
somebody. And every time they do sell it, because it's a part of that ledger, now that's the value of it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
Well, I mean, somebody could in the future resell it for less if they wanted to.
But who would do
But
that?
But who would
exactly.
wanna take
It's
a loss?
provenance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Under normal market conditions, you're going to want to get at least what you paid for it.
Yeah.
So, but there will probably be auction. There probably already are auctions too, like you were saying.
Yeah, they're all.
So
it's all the
those
platforms.
auctions will drive up, just like eBay. I mean, those auctions will drive up the price too because somebody's willing to pay, 5 ETH, 6 ETH. Like they're gonna, that's gonna drive up the price.
Yeah.
So, and then you have a more like relevant price based on multiple buyers too. So.
Oh, there's so many possibilities with it. Now is really the best time to get into. Like, we're so lucky in a way, and just in such a good spot right now because it's the beginning. Like, NFTs just came out in December of last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure.
NFTs, so the technology has been around for years. In fact, it was first thought of in 1997.
Whoa.
That was
For
when-
blockchain or for NFTs?
Well, NFTs and blockchain kind of, I
Okay.
believe now.
blockchain's been around a while.
Blockchain's
Yeah.
been around a while, and
Well,
the
since-
original idea was just as a ledger, and then man who I can't pronounce I can't remember how to.
Satoshi Nakamoto?
Thank you. He was the first one to like actually put everything in place. But NFTs have been around
Nakamoto,
for a long time too. In fact, I mean, like, I believe there are NFTs in like 2017. I'm pretty sure there were, and like beyond it, but Ethereum.
Oh, okay. Built on Ethereum.
Ethereum
Yeah.
is built on the blockchain in such a way to handle these contracts. That's what makes it different from Bitcoin. Is it's made
To scale.
to do these smart contracts and to like
Yeah.
execute them.
Another thing, and this is another thing you should really think about. I haven't had a chance to tell you, so I'll just tell you on a podcast. Why not? Something I'm thinking of doing too. I mean, I don't know if we told you this, but your dad just sold another painting yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so this has been a really good month, and we've had more than half of our sales have come through in a gallery. So I'm starting to think that it would be really smart for us and any other artist who is in a gallery to make it a stipulation and a part of the deal. Like, the gallery must sell the NFT with the painting,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
because it guarantees you in the future that when it is resold, that you get some money on it.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. You just have to also make sure that you demand the gallery doesn't get royalties.
Right. No, they
So,
wouldn't.
yeah.
Because the gallery is not building equity in your.
How would that work with the original art? Like,
Well, that's what goes back
It's-
to what we were saying before. Were you talking about like with it being
yeah,
resold
but with
or
a gallery, yeah. How would if they?
Well,
resell
first of
it,
all,
who
the
would be
buyer
responsible?
gets a way better of a product because they're just going in getting a bill of sale, provenance, right, in the bill of sale, which they could still get. It's fine.
Yeah.
And I mean, the NFT will make it irrelevant, but anyway, so they're getting a better thing. They're getting the painting and the NFT. And so they in the future can have something more valuable to sell.
Well, and that's another thing that's really cool.
It turns it into an investment. So even if they just went to go buy something pretty for their house and they have no, it's not taking away from them. It's like, hey, you also get this NFT.
Yeah. In order to buy the NFT, They have to have a crypto wallet to receive the NFT.
Oh.
You have to go through, but I mean,
It's really easy. Like I just set it
Yeah,
up the
I
other
did
day
too.
in like literally 5 minutes.
yeah,
Not even.
it's really not a
actually.
big deal.
There's
But-
several different ones. Just so if you're watching this, you're like, how do I get a crypto wallet? If you just Google it, how do I get a crypto wallet? Boom, you'll be able to do it in literally 5 minutes.
I think MetaMask is one
MetaMask
of the
is
biggest ones.
yeah, and then Coinbase has a wallet too that you can get, and that one's pretty well known.
Yeah.
So then you would
Sorry.
probably need the gallery's cooperation, and you
Yeah.
could work out a deal where they get 5% or some small percentage to basically
set it up.
help them set it up.
Yeah.
And then they would deserve it. But then the gallery would be incentivized to do it because
They get 5%.
they get
now.
5% in the future and forevermore.
If you write that into the smart contract, if
Yeah.
you want to do that, I mean, that's
Well, if that's the only way you're going to get a gallery to educate,
true. So
there'll come a time where you wouldn't need to do that, but it's better than nothing. You know
Oh,
what I'm
definitely.
saying? You might as well share it with the gallery. You know,
yeah. So question: what happens when you sell an original artwork with your NFT and your certificate of authenticity, and then the person who buys it goes and they sell the actual physical artwork somewhere to someone else, and then they keep the NFT in their crypto wallet.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's anything wrong with that, separating the two, but
I don't know. Yeah. It's tough.
because it's almost like keeping the certificate of authenticity and selling the painting a little bit, except now you have both.
yeah, but nobody will probably buy a painting on the secondary market without provenance.
Eventually, yeah. But right now, I mean, most people, you don't sell an NFT with your current originals.
No, but we give them a letter, like a bill
Mm-hmm.
of sale that authenticates it.
Okay. So you would just not do the bill of sale anymore and do the NFT as the bill of sale.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Because the NFT in itself is a piece of art. And like they're already talking about ways that people can display their NFTs at home, and like Demetra drew, honestly, like a smart screen, that
Yeah.
shows the art.
Yeah.
So it's like, so then where
That's
do you,
another
That's what I'm trying
application.
to understand. What is the point of people buying them if it's just in their like crypto wallet? Like how can they experience it?
Well,
like it's just they're just buying.
Demetra, think of this. Think about those VIP people that were in those art auctions, and they had so much art they couldn't display it because art buying is an addiction. Just I don't know if you know that, but art buying is an addiction. So there's art collectors that get to a point where they have more art than they have space or houses to display the art. So they keep it in storage. They keep their art in storage. They might change it out every once in a while. And what do? They walk around with their phones showing each other all their paintings. Remember at that thing, that's what they were all doing, is like showing each
that's
other
so true.
their collections on their phone. And they were changing. I saw them exchanging phones and going, "Oh wow, you have that one? No way! I was trying to get that one." Blah blah blah. And they were like, it was like their children. Here's
except
a
now it'll
Look
be
at the pictures of my
public.
kids.
yeah.
It'll be public. You'll be able to
Right.
go on this person's crypto wallet and see publicly they have that Milan.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted that one. And then they can message them and be like, hey, I'm a collector too. If you ever would want to trade or do a deal, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's so true.
Okay, so we have a few questions. Some doubters about NFTs. Some people
Cool.
concerned about environmental impacts and stuff like that. And then, so Claudia, I'm not going to be able to say your last name wrong or right. I'm sorry. Castrian wants to know, with traditional art, you can hang it on your wall and make your home more beautiful. Compared to that, what's the value of buying an NFT? It's a good question. I think that's probably like a question that most people would have, and that's what you
That's what I was just
initially
asking.
asked.
Yeah.
So wait, is that what you guys were just talking about? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
Well,
was like,
sort
I
of.
was like looking
Kind
at
of.
questions and
Kind
stuff.
of.
We
Yeah.
started to
Beauty didn't come into it so much.
But, what Demetra drew here on her thing, I mean, describe what you were imagining or seeing.
Well, like
Because you've had
there
that
has to
question.
be a way for people to to have the art in their home. I mean, I think that's, if I were buying NFTs, I mean, I wouldn't just want to have it on my phone to flip through and just have the image. Like, to me, that's not that cool. So I'd want to have a place, like how you were saying, some collectors, when it's really addicting, they buy lots of art, they don't have space for all of it. So if they had a mix of original art, but also, like, I'm sure there's going to be this invention, or maybe there probably already is, but just some kind of super high definition screen that doesn't look like a TV. It'll look more high end, but it's just kind of on your wall, and it will, you can, you know, put up whatever painting you want, whatever
Didn't
image
Melissa
you
have
want.
that
I was
idea?
just gonna say.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say.
whatever
Remember when
yeah.
Melissa had? Well, what she didn't. It wasn't with NFTs,
Uh-huh.
and that's why I was like, I don't know if it would
'Cause
work.
we're like,
but
you can't just give people your image. They'll
Yeah.
just
Then
steal
you're
it and
starting
make
to.
prints and,
That's
yeah.
really smart, honestly, because it's like I mean, a business idea. It's really smart.
yeah,
Okay, real quick, I just wanted to.
Now we should tell her, like, hey, that's a really
yeah.
good idea.
Well, she'll love it because she was really like super excited about the idea. But I was like, I just don't think it'll work because who's gonna want that? But now with the NFTs.
Yeah.
It's
Makes
like
sense.
she just was ahead of her time, I think.
Yeah,
And didn't
yeah.
have all the pieces.
So I just really quickly wanted to address some people who are concerned about the environmental impacts of NFTs. So I was just reading a report actually earlier today, and you know there are definitely Bitcoin and Ethereum both consume a lot of energy, and you know Elon Musk just tweeted about Tesla not accepting Bitcoin anymore because of the energy impact, fossil fuel impact. But if you look at the efficiency of cryptocurrencies and their platforms and their energy consumption compared to the efficiency of the centralized banking system, it's staggering. The centralized banking system, dollar to terawatt of energy consumed, is a much higher ratio. So what I'm saying is it's much less efficient for you to use your dollar than it is for you to use a cryptocurrency.
To use your debit card.
And debit card.
Thing,
Yeah. So just food for thought.
Yeah. Something I want to say too about like the, you know, having an NFT in your home is our homes will still be our homes, but we're going into such a digital world. And I mean, I don't want to look it up right now, but Claudia, I would say Google like how much money was spent on Farmville, you know, the
Yeah.
app that where
Oh
you
my
build
gosh.
a digital farm. And I mean, Mom, hey, I know that you used Farmville and you played Farmville a lot. Well, okay, so you decorate your home in Farmville or your farm with your artwork and things like that. Like, people spent so much money to
Yeah.
do those kinds of things. Buying skins on video games, things like that. Like, it's about showing like, hey, I have this. This is what I'm into. Showing your personality online versus just in the real world.
Yeah, it's true.
But just, I mean, this is probably just stating the obvious. I don't think anything will
Compare.
kind of compare to just having original art on your wall.
It'll make it
It's-
more valuable.
It
Yeah.
will, and that's cool. It's so powerful to know. Like, artists will always have a place, no matter how digital things become.
That's right.
Because it's
I think a lot of resistance to digital art comes with a fear that it will replace.
yeah, but it won't.
It won't.
Yeah.
And anytime there's like sort of fear motivating a resistance to something, it's a key. It's a clue. That it's probably not good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're like, if you don't necessarily like the idea of digital art becoming more popular, like what you just said, completely, like it's not, if digital art becomes more popular, it only creates an opportunity for more artists. It doesn't
That's right.
diminish
Right.
from painters. It's like, oh my gosh, they were actually able to do something. I saw this artist do that on an iPad, but then that artist can do it in real life with paint. Like, that must be so much harder,
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not to like, there's lots of animation and stuff and like crazy digital art that's like, not to like put one down. I'm not trying to like
It's
compare.
just so
They're kind of
different.
incomparable.
It's so different, yeah.
But yeah, if one market grows, it only serves to help the other market. It
Right.
doesn't take away from it. So
Right.
that's all I'm trying to say. But we are out of time. It's been an hour. It's been a lovely hour.
It's been awesome.
It's been very interesting. More ideas coming up just as the podcast has unfolded. So thank you, Josh, for being on this podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
thank you.
it was awesome having you. Very you were able to clarify a lot of things, so that was
Thanks.
good. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked this podcast, or, you know, if you thought it was interesting, share it with somebody, you know, somebody who you think might benefit from it. And look out on Art Club. We're going to be making a video on how to create NFTs in the future, probably in the next month or two. So that will be on Art Club. If you want to join Art Club, you can click the link below, get 14 days for free. And we'll see. Actually, I should announce that this is the last episode of season 2 of Milan Art Podcast Light Movement. So because we're going to Greece starting next week, very exciting, and we'll be taking a little bit of a break for some time. So.
And are you going to mention Saturday?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Saturday we are having a live event here on YouTube. So make sure you go, and that's going to be announcing. That's going to be announcing a lot of exciting new updates
Yes.
with Milan Art Institute and Milan Art. So are there any spoilers that we want to get?
No.
Probably not spoilers, but we've got a lot of cool things that are coming. I
A
mean,
lot of cool
it's
Yeah.
going to be really exciting.
If you're in the mastery program, you want to be there.
Yep.
And if you're thinking about taking the mastery program, you definitely want to be there. If you like art or painting,
If you follow
want to
Ellie
be
or
there.
Demetra, you want to be there. I mean,
Yeah, we have some very exciting news that it's been really hard to contain.
Yeah.
So
but
hard.
no leaks.
I feel like
Quiet.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be able to live again after Saturday happens.
Ellie's about to burst.
I can't keep a secret. I'm like that lady in Saturday Night Live. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, with
I
I
Kristen
hope you
Wiig.
guys have seen that
Surprise party
episode.
one?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
surprise party lady. That's me.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig.
I'm going to go bust through the wall now.
So Saturday morning, that is Saturday the 15th, and 2 days from now at 11 a.m. EDT. So
Yes.
we will see you guys there. And thank you guys for joining us. That was a ton of fun.